I got interested in theater at about the age of 10 when I was in a play at school. It occurred to me while I was doing that play that I was standing in the light talking and everyone else was sitting in the dark being quiet and listening. And this was something that I couldn't resist. And I decided that that's how I wanted to spend the rest of my life.
The work of theater isn't really a theoretical work. It's responding to the world that you see every day.
One of the glories of our art form is that it's not primarily passive. You have to be an actively engaged listener.
Theater can really teach you how to live a rich, full life.
Theater gives you a perspective outside of yourself.
And sometimes it's utterly delightful, and sometimes it's painful.
It's a lot of hard work, but I think it's very rewarding.
It only happens once, because the particular energy that the actors bring that night and the particular energy that this group of people will bring that night will meet somewhere over the footlights, and there'll be some kind of a phosphorescence, if you will, and it'll be gone.
We were here opening night at the Fred Miller. It was like a Hollywood opening. They had Klieg lights and a red carpet. It was an exciting evening.
I was at the Fred Miller Theater many times on Oakland Avenue. Then I moved to Todd Ware, and it was wonderful. You know, it's a very unique theater. I did enjoy going to the Court Street, which was across from the Schlitz Brewery. It was really kind of a funny place with terrible seats, and it was dirty, and we loved it. It was interesting at the Todd Ware to me because we began to see the actual place getting too small for the productions. I wonder where they're going to go.
In, let's say, 1979, literally into my office walked Bob Beckley and Cheryl Myers. They're architects at the University of Wisconsin at that point, and said, "We want to know if there's anything we could do for you." That's what I went, what? They interviewed the company. I mean, from every board member to every last usher, practically. And we had endless meetings about what did we need and what would an ideal theater look like. And they fixed on this power plant complex as the ideal place.
And the land was owned by Wisconsin Energy. So I got the board to authorize me to go over and offer $250,000 for the project, and I went over and met with Charlie McNear with Sarah O'Connor, and he just in mid-sentence said, "Well, Mike, why don't I just give it to you?" Everything took off from there.
that process of being involved with that piece, the sort of political, economic, business piece of the community, I met a lot of terrific people doing that. People who had a lot to lose, because I realized at one point that we were going to do it whether we wanted to or not, and that's a very scary process. And I thought, well, I'll lose my job if we blow it. And then I thought, but there are people with major reputations in this town who will lose their reputation. So to me, this place is an amazing picture of what a community can do.
Theater is very important in your relevance as a community these days, and if you're going to grow as a community.
The performing arts are absolutely one of Milwaukee's greatest assets. A recent study showed that one of the primary reasons people were coming downtown was to attend performing arts.
Way back when, it was the traditional ethnic, cultural experiences, but now we're really selling a much more rich cultural experience here. That's where the Rep really comes into play.
The Milwaukee Rep has the opportunity to put on the size of work that others can't. You know, with 3 theaters, they have the opportunity to do big productions and small cabaret activities. So that's what gives it a unique niche.
The business community looks very favorably on the Rep because they are an integral part of the culture here. I mean, they are probably the most stable financially, and they're an inspiration to other theater groups.
The management of the Rep has been excellent. In fact, it's been outstanding. It lives within its budgets and does extremely well.
Like all of the performing arts, the opportunity to give to businesses a quality of life with which to attract good businesses, with which to attract good employees, with which to stimulate employees is critical. We know that one of the things that attracts young professionals to a community is having a very vibrant culture and art scene. And it gives a whole different view to Milwaukee when you see what we're doing with arts.
I think it's very helpful for businesses to give back to the arts because it's one of the things that help recruit people to come into town. I think people and businesses have an obligation to give back to the community.
The Rep took an interesting step years ago that no other arts group in this community has done, and that was the development of the Milwaukee Center. They were ready to grow and ready to have a larger venue. How do we also provide something more to the community and create synergy in a public-private partnership? We developed a center for which the artistic and business community could come together, and it was driven by an arts group.
Look how many jobs it gives, how many opportunities it gives for people to perform and learn their craft.
All that work of creating the production happens right here in this building, and it's not farmed out anyplace. Our productions are built from the ground up for people in Milwaukee, by people who live in Milwaukee.
We were one of the first of the regional theater movements, and I think Milwaukee can be proud of that. But the really exciting thing is I look at all of our colleague theaters. We have 7 or 8 professional colleagues in town that have had the same growth.
John Dillon used to say that, theaters are like grapes, they grow better in bunches. Competition keeps you on your toes. You've got to be good enough so people will see them and you, or maybe only you.
We've had an ongoing relationship with the people who come to our theater. With 24,000 season ticket holders, they're seeing not just one play at a time, but 4 or 6 or 9 plays over the course of a season. They can have some trust in the Rep that when they come to see a show, even if it's unfamiliar to them, it will be well produced, it'll be a good story, and that they'll have a good time at the play.
There's nothing that an artist wants more than to feel needed, loved, and wanted. And I know that all of our artists feel that in Milwaukee.
And to them too, because there wasn't a lot of work going around. But at the very beginning of the
artists are supposed to lead in terms of things of the imagination and thought. And so sometimes we lead them down blind alleys, but most of the time we try to light the way spiritually. Ooh, this is really getting profound.
When I work on a character, I try to bring out a different part of myself. This is who I would have been had I had a different set of circumstances and made a different set of adjustments to life. I feel as if they're all a part of me. And while I'm working on them, they are me.
One of our key strengths is this resident acting company that we have, and we have got a dozen actors who are with us all season long.
It's more unique now than it was maybe 20 years ago. And you can see that their work over the time that they're going to be together is going to improve.
It just simply means you can work more efficiently and you can do more exploratory work, because so often people spend the first quarter of the rehearsal period figuring out who each other are.
We can support each other to take risks, to do things that are not necessarily comfortable for us. That's when you get something that is really honest and really vulnerable in a performance.
I have been blessed through the Milwaukee Repertory Theater to develop as an actor and as a playwright. It's one thing to be a part of a writing workshop. It's another thing to know that at the completion of the writing, it's actually going to be mounted.
Everybody who works here is a part of it, you know, from the people who work in the basement, from the people who are here in the middle of the night vacuuming the rugs, to the people who are here until 11 o'clock at night rehearsing a show. Every one of those people is a part of it.
We're all in it for the same reason, really. And it's, you know, obviously if you're in theater, you're not just in it for the paycheck. You're in it for the product. You're in it for the art.
And I'm so grateful to the audiences in Milwaukee for demanding the best from all of us. And I get that feeling that there's a different dynamic in the audience. There needs to be a drive in the play that will stay ahead of them, challenge them. Audiences want to psychologically lean forward in their chairs. They don't want to sit back and let it wash over them anymore.
We hope that the audience feels fulfilled at the same time. If there's a higher purpose to this, that's what it would be.
The pebble, you drop it and the ripples go out. And once you open somebody to a new experience, they get excited. They tell somebody or they take somebody with them the next time, and then they get excited, and it just goes on and on and on.
Over the course of a season, the Rep will touch the lives of about 15,000 school children through student matinees, through programming in the school, through workshops, through a summer theater conservatory that we offer here.
It's a huge part of the Rep's mission to make sure that we are educating as well as entertaining. A huge portion of what we do is with adolescents.
The first day you come here, you meet new people and you're like, well, I don't want to look dumb in front of them, and you try to be this cool person. But then within 24 hours, you're like, well, it's okay for me to crawl on the ground or walk with a limp or talk with a crazy accent, because that's what you do here. You become something you're not, and you get used to being in front of other people.
I love their energy and their honesty.
So I had to audition for the Summer Theater Conservatory with a monologue and song. Oh no, not he.
I've become more outgoing. I trust my choices more. I take more risks and just give more of myself to everything that I do.
She's gonna come.
What I have seen, each time we get together, it seems like something new comes out, whether it's self-esteem or gratification from a special needs students.
A lot of kids that are very introverted, can become very extroverts. I knew a young lady and she was such an introvert, and she came to Milwaukee Repertory Theater, and she really found great fun in expressing herself.
When someone kisses me, I somehow sort of want to kiss them back.
I think the people at Milwaukee Rep should feel very good about what they've made available. Just make it more available. If you don't reach out your hand, sometimes to either shake it or give help, how are you going to know? Because if we keep saying that our young people are our future, then we need to be preparing them better.
What I really want them to have when they leave here is a sense of personal power, respect the other person's ideas and listen as well as speak. I mean, it's not just about acting, it's about living a life that is positive and connected to other people, and I think that's important.
There are people who have truly dedicated their entire careers to making good theater for Milwaukee audiences.
I've enjoyed performing for Milwaukee audiences, or I'd have gone somewhere else.
But this was a place where we could take those goals and values that we had set up for ourselves and make a literal home and an artistic home for ourselves.
We try, when we look at successes, we try not to look back, but to look forward in a way that's going to be provocative, fulfilling for us, fulfilling for an audience.
The Rep at 100, what would it be like? I hope that it will be equally engaged with its community as it is today, that the Rep still has the kind of reputation that it does now for doing theatrical work of the highest caliber. As long as we continue to try to do work that is interesting and does reach into corners of people's lives, then that'll be a key for how the Rep lives its next 50 years.
I'm going to be 90 in April. 50 is nothing. You're babies, and you've got lots of luck and good fortune to look forward to.